Today we're going to take a look at adapting vintage lenses like this beautiful Exacta lens to your modern mirrorless camera, and maybe even adding some tilt shift functionality. This beautiful Exacta camera unfortunately has a broken shutter, so I can't shoot film with it anymore. But what I can do is adapt this vintage lens on the front to my modern mirrorless camera. Let's take it off the camera. And this is actually a very beautiful little Exacta mount vintage lens. It's a Carl Zeiss Jenna Tessar 50mm f2.8 lens. Now this is a beautiful vintage lens. It's got this really nice silver design, very lightweight. I believe it's aluminum. There are a couple drawbacks to this lens. As you can see, there is some fungus growing inside of it, and that will affect the image quality. You most likely won't see the fungus dots in your photos or videos, but it will add an overall softness to the lens. It's kind of like adding a softening filter to the lens. But actually that's fairly popular these days. People are buying these Black Mist Pro filters to put on the front. So a vintage lens that already has some extra softness in it because of fungus actually might be exactly the type of image you are looking for. Now I shoot videos with my Sony a7S II. So to adapt this Exacta mount vintage lens to my Sony, I'm going to use a Fotodiox Exacta to Sony E adapter. It's very simple to mount the lens on the adapter. You're just going to line up the red mounting dot on the lens with the red mounting dot on the adapter, press them together, and then rotate the lens until it locks into place. And then to remove the lens, there's this blue lever here. You just press that down, that unlocks it, and then you can rotate it to remove it. So with this adapter, I can just mount this directly onto my Sony a7S II, and I am ready to go. I've got my vintage 50mm lens mounted to my full frame camera. This is a full frame film lens, so I will get full coverage. I won't get any vignetting. Obviously, like I said, I will get some softness, but this is an f2.8 lens. So if I open up all the way, I can create some pretty beautiful shallow depth of field photos and videos. I've been shooting with manual adapted lenses for over 10 years now, and I actually still love just the look of using an adapted lens, and I also love the image quality. It's amazing what some of these older vintage lenses can do for your photos and videos. You get interesting lens flare, you get interesting amounts of contrast, softness, kind of some soft edges from time to time. But yeah, I really like this lens, and it's a great combination with my Sony. Now this is a pretty nice setup, but what if I want to add tilt shift to this lens? What if I want to add tilt shift functionality to it? I can actually do that with our Tilt Rocker Tilt Shift adapter and some double adapting. Now we don't make an Exacta to Sony E Tilt Rocker Tilt Shift adapter, but we do make a Canon EF to Sony E Tilt Rocker adapter. We also make an Exacta to Canon EF adapter. So I can actually put this vintage lens on this adapter, put this adapter on this adapter, and then I can add tilt shift functionality to this lens. So this Exacta to EF adapter actually has 2 channels depending on what type of Exacta lens you're using. Let's see if this one will work. We're just going to line up the red mounting dot with the red mounting dot on the adapter. Place the lens into the adapter like this, and then rotate the lens. Yep, that's locked on pretty tight. And now we're going to mount the Exacta to EF adapter to our EF to Sony E Tilt Rocker adapter. Line up the red mounting dots, press the lens in, and rotate it to lock it into place. There we go. Now we've got this vintage Exacta mount lens adapted to our Tilt Rocker adapter. Then we can mount it on our Sony a7S II like this. All right. Now, not only are we adapting this lens to this camera, we also now have shift. So we can shift the lens left and right, or we can shift it up and down by rotating this part here. And most notably, and especially for this lens, we can just loosen this gold knob here, and then we can tilt the lens down up to 10 degrees of tilt. And then to rotate the tilt, just press this little gold button here. Can rotate the tilt wherever we want it. So now we can tilt to the left, we can rotate it this way, and we can tilt it to the right. So now not only are we adapting this beautiful vintage lens to the Sony camera, we're also now giving it tilt shift functionality. And when you tilt a lens like this, you're taking the flat focal plane and you're actually tilting it. And by doing that, you're taking your focal plane and you're adjusting it so only a sliver of your focal plane is in focus. This is a great way to add selective focus to your images, where only part of the image is in focus. Everything on the left and right is out of focus. Everything on the top and bottom is out of focus if you are tilting down or up. And yeah, this is a very creative, interesting feature to add to an already interesting, unique vintage lens like this. Now you can also shift the lens for perspective distortion correction. This is a fairly long lens, 50 millimeters, so you're not gonna really need that with a lens this long, but you can shift the lens all the way to one side, take a photo, shift it all the way to the other, take a second photo, and then you can take these two images and stitch them together in post for a panoramic image. You're capturing more of the image circle of the adapted lens. Now you are gonna get some vignetting because this is a full frame lens to a full frame camera, but it is going to help you create a wider, more panoramic image by capturing more of the lens's image circle. And it's a fun thing you can do with tilt shift adapters like this. Okay, that was a quick look at adapting beautiful vintage lenses you might have laying around your house, especially if you have an old antique camera like this. The lens on the front of it might actually be really great to use on your modern digital camera. And whether you're using a simple adapter like this, without any functionality, or you are double adapting to one of our Tilt Rocker tilt shift adapters, you can get beautiful results by adapting vintage lenses. If you have any questions about anything I said in today's video, comment below. I'd love to help you out. Also, click the links in the description below to learn more about this adapter, and this adapter, and all of the tilt shift adapters we have to offer here at Fotodiox. Click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more videos just like this one. I'm Sean with Fotodiox.com, and have fun shooting with vintage adapted lenses.